Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Amanda,
Andy,
what are we doing today?
we're doing not the TV guide.
Beth, what is Not the TV Guide?
It is a podcast where we talk about the latest TV we've been watching.
And Grant, how quickly are you promising that you won't drop any C words on this tonight?
Can I say crap? I'm not allowed to say
Yeah,
that.
well, you've started already. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you can see people, Andy and by the way as well. We're going to be talking about loads of there's a radio then, TV and film tonight.
Yeah.
And Grant already is using the C word. That mostly covers the first program we're going to talk about tonight. Now, before we do that, a quick bit of news here as well. We are, the four of us, going to be on Ruth O'Reilly's All FM radio show on, I think it's Sunday the 15th of June, a couple of weeks after the current season of Doctor Who finishes. Grant is going to have fun there because he can't swear when he's live on air. So that pretty well knocks out about probably half of Grant's repertoire, basically. So
I'll have to hope that every 9 words that they can't pick up on or something like that. The radio frequency can't have to spell out. Effing yes or whatever.
Oh yeah. Now, obviously, we're talking about first of all today. Then Doctor Who. Now, like I said, when we're at with Ruth, we're going to cover the full season. As of recording, there's been one episode released, and I've just realised I haven't wrote the bloody name of it down either. So I'm swearing now. Was it Robot Revolution, Amanda? Was it called?
It was.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, Grant. Do you want to give us your in-depth analysis on this program?
Well, I've literally just finished watching it about 20 minutes ago, and it was a slog to watch go through. It was total rubbish, to be honest with you, from start to finish. Like, I hated pretty much every second of it.
Oh God! Now, was there anything positive you could say about this, Grant?
No. The only thing positive I'd say about it is that the alien planet looked a bit like Skaro at first. I thought it was like the Daleks were going to be there because it looked a bit like it, and then but no, it was just this kind of I'll tell you what I did like, actually, the kind of the Polish robot.
Oh yeah, that's probably the only good thing about it. Actually, that's a cute factor. That so yeah,
because I've always wanted a robot vacuum cleaner, so so it was kind of wish fulfillment for me seeing it, and it was a bit like the ones from Wally, the film Wally, I liked. So yeah, he was a good character. But yeah,
now,
it was
before we go on to Beth, I've got to do my pet moan. Okay. I really hated the cameo of Mrs. Flood in the series, that episode.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Really, I thought it was pointless. It was a cheap throwaway gag, and they could have left it and not added in that episode to me. It just didn't need it. Before we let Beth do the in-depth analysis, 'cause I know she's very good at this, Doctor Who geek that she is. Amanda, there's one thing you hated about this program as well, wasn't it, in particular?
Yeah, you should never kill the pair, and they did. I was screaming
yes, I thought of that as well.
Yeah, it was a cheap.
And I thought, surely the cat's going to come back at the end or something. I was just waiting.
Yeah, I was a bit.
Yeah, that was evil, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You can see when the showrunner's not a cat lover.
Yeah.
That's for sure of it. Beth, now you're going to have a lot more to say about this because you're the journalist among us. So,
Yeah, I don't know. The thing is, I feel like every new episode of Doctor Who that comes out, I kind of go into it thinking like, like maybe it will be an improvement, and like I sort of try to keep an open mind, and I kind of really try to kind of take it in more sort of neutrally and not kind of put, any previous expectations onto it or anything. But it just seemed to be like what I'm finding with a lot of episodes of Doctor Who now. It just felt really kind of like rushed and disjointed. Like it kind of made sense, but it was just like the storytelling was really rushed, and it just felt like everything was kind of happening at once, and it was all kind of going at a million miles an hour. And it almost feels like they're trying to tell too big a story in too short a space of time. And that's kind of the feeling I've been getting on most of the episodes that are coming out now. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why, this is happening. But I just feel like it wasn't. I mean, I didn't think it was terrible. I thought the story had real potential, but the execution just wasn't quite there for me, which is what I'm finding in most of the new episodes that are coming out. Good sort of basic idea, but then it's just not executed very well.
Yeah, no.
And I just don't. Also, does Russell T Davies understand the difference between an incel who is by definition not in a relationship and somebody who is abusive and coercively controlling? Because I that was one of the main issues that I had with the episode, because
I did.
The character of Alan, you know, pick a story. Are you trying to say something about incel culture, or are you trying to talk about coercive control in relationships? Because they're two very different things. You know, incels by definition are usually not in relationships. So which one are you trying to talk about? Because they're two separate issues. And he almost seemed to kind of be rolling them into one, which is kind of a bit. I mean, personally, I felt was almost a bit disrespectful towards people who have like found themselves on the receiving end of, you know, controlling relationships.
Yeah, that was my big problem this episode. It was I was reading the Guardian review of this, and they said exactly what you said there, Beth, of it. It was like you got really like, I think it was one where it could have been a film, this, or you're right, they should have done perhaps concentrated on his story. It was, Mandy, do you remember the bit of it with that Alan at the beginning of it, when it was like you could see them with drifting apart?
Saying, like, no texting after 8 p.m. and I was just like, what?
Now, people are wondering, Amanda, you had an ex that's probably like that towards you, didn't you?
Not quite like that. In a different way, but
yeah, but he's still a twat, mind you. So I know. See, Grant started the story, I can carry it on. But you're right, it jarred at me. And then they suddenly reintroduced him, halfway through the episode, the big baddie. Almost a bit like Davros he was when they opened the robot.
Yeah.
And it didn't connect to me at all. I was really, really disappointed in that, I was. And it was just... And if I'm honest, I felt, with obviously the introduction of the new companion as a Belinda, the end of it came across a bit too much like Donna to me. Take me home. And I thought, I nearly started swearing at the screen when I got that bit coming up.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't quite like the fact that she didn't want to be there, because I felt like that watching the episode. I didn't really want to be involved in this.
Yeah.
and also, like, feel sorry for Cutie Gapper, because he probably wants his Hollywood career to kick off, doesn't he? And he's stuck doing this rubbish.
Exactly. So goodness knows what's going on with the rumours at the moment, but we'll come on to another episode. Because obviously I know the spin-off series is finished. That's been rumoured to be coming out in August or September. So we'll know more then. But anyway, we're not going to mark it, folks. We will slag it off to back, and no doubt. And we're doing Ruth's radio programme in mid-June. I promise you. Grant, are you listening? No swearing. Right. Okay. We've probably covered that one now. I want to touch on as well for all of us is Daredevil Born Again season 1. Now, again, we can't really do a proper investigation. We'll do this next month, because the bloody finale's out on Wednesday, 2 days after we finish recording, and Beth's going to watch it next month. She tells us all. Now, I've got some notes based on this, and let's see if we can actually encourage Beth to watch this. Grant, have you got anything you want to say about Daredevil as well? Or?
What about it? Yeah, I've just to say, I never actually watched the Netflix version of it, beforehand.
Oh, didn't you?
No, never. No. I kind of watched the first one or two, but then I kind of didn't have Netflix for a while, so I never followed up with it. Because also, I never really watched, there wasn't a Marvel TV. I never watched any Marvel TV, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or anything like that, so never really followed up on it. But this was like the first time for the characters for me. But but even that, I kind of understood. I didn't feel I missed anything. So I think you can watch it if you don't need to watch the other ones.
Yeah,
but I've been loving it so far.
It's been really good. Really good. The original Netflix series, from 10 years ago, it started out now as well. Terrifyingly, it's really violent and it's really, really dark in places, but it's quite slow paced. The pacing is quite different on this, and but I'll be interested to chat to you about this next month, Beth. Obviously, you're on analytical skills in it, because they had a lot of trouble with it, during the first season because did you read about this, Grant and Amanda? About the fact was the two showrunners got booted out on the fifth
Yeah.
episode, so they went back and did massive recuts on it and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
but again, I really enjoyed it. I thought Amanda, your favourite was when John Purcell came in as the Punisher, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of my favourite bits, yeah.
Yeah, and was there any other bits you really liked in it, Amanda?
I'm trying not to say too much because Beth's not watched it yet.
No,
Yeah.
but we can
And
hint.
there was certain bits in the last episode that we watched, and that's the second to last episode, and I was a bit shocked by something that Daredevil did.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. And there's nothing not wrong saying this, Beth. I know when we saw the original trailer, I had Amanda saying to me, and we made sense when we watched it. She didn't understand why the Kingpin and Daredevil were sat in a cafe talking like they were friends in the first couple of minutes. And
Interesting.
it was fascinating because when we watched it on the full program, it
Yeah.
shows the tension between the pair of them if you watch it carefully,
Mm,
the way they were
yeah.
focusing around the Kingpin's movement and stuff like that. It's very, very subtly shot, this program is in places, and
Mm.
it's a really good watch, to be honest with
I'm
Mhm.
excited to watch it because I've not like Grant, I've not actually watched that much Marvel like TV series. I've watched like most of the films, but I've not really been that up to speed with a lot of the TV series. So I'm excited to kind of give it a go and see kind of a superhero in a more sort of TV format. It sounds
Yeah.
like it's going to be good.
It's very grounded. It's not like anything like the Avengers at all, really, isn't it? It's like really like a very noirish sort of thriller, really. Uh,
Right.
I have to be honest, and Amanda would agree with me, there's been some of the Marvel TV shows we thought were atrocious. But this one I had hope on was going to be good. I
Mhm.
hope the conclusion don't let us down. Because honestly, Beth, if we get you watching Star Wars, thank you, Grant, for Aqua Shite, right? Grant last year got us watching Aqualight and he called it Aqua Shite, right? And it was the
It was
painful
bad.
watch. It bloody awful. But Daredevil's really been good. It's not as dark as the Netflix series, but it's got its moments. I think
Mhm.
you'll probably really enjoy it, don't you? So,
Yeah.
and no spoilers there. Okay, and we want to touch base obviously in The Apprentice, don't we, as well? Because obviously Amanda's not what Amanda. You don't like The Apprentice, do you?
I just have no interest in watching
Oh, that's
Oh,
horrible.
it. I know I'm
now
going to hell.
I seem to recall it's been about another 3 or 4 episodes, hasn't it? So are you Beth and Grant, are you both up to date with it?
I think I'm a couple of episodes behind, I think, but
Oh, okay.
it's been really good though. I
Yeah, it's
just
been an amazing series. Yeah.
Yeah.
it has been a really good series. I think I'm just constant. I do know what Amanda means because it is actually like sometimes I genuinely think it's actually quite difficult watching because it is genuinely cringeworthy sometimes. Like some of the efforts that they come out with, and I'm like, these are supposed to be like some of the top business brains like of the new generation, and you're telling me that is the best they can come up with. Like there was the episode where they had to do oh god, where both of the teams lost, and I
Oh,
was
the hot
like,
sauce one. Yeah,
oh, the
that was
Oh,
hot
great.
sauce
Yeah.
appalling that was.
Yeah. Banging.
Couldn't believe it. I could.
banging. That's what they decided was an appropriate name for the
Yeah.
product.
Yeah.
Banging. I'm just like, oh god, it genuinely baffles me. Like it's kind of slightly galling as well because I feel like I know many people that would never go on a show like that, but would probably do a far better job. And it's like
Yeah.
it's genuinely slightly galling that these people are
Yeah.
like, supposed to be some of the top business people.
Yeah.
Incredible. No, it's true. Since you're not up to date, Beth, I can't obviously ask you about the boardroom, not the boardroom, the mass eliminations one and the interviews.
Oh, yeah.
But
It's a great episode.
yeah, and I've got to say, and I'm not naming names to you, and Grant, can you do this without naming them? Were you a bit surprised on the last two people for this week's conclusion?
Yeah, I was. Well, one of them in particular. Yeah. Uh, but I think the other person was like when you see her interview, she had actually quite a good business it was actually quite viable. So the
Yeah.
other ones were just one of them was a great candidate, but had an absolutely mental idea. You had an absolute cracker's business. I won't tell Beth it, but she'll love it when she sees it eventually. But yeah, it's an absolutely crazy
Yeah.
version of LinkedIn she comes up with. You need to watch it, Beth. It's very funny, very good episode. The interviews one, Claude
And
and Micah in great form. Really rip them to shreds.
oh, we do.
I do love the interviews episode, but
Oh,
I'm
it's
always
amazing.
like, surely there must have, like, sometimes the business plans they come out with, I'm like, surely
Yeah.
they must have vetted these
Yeah,
before they let
exactly.
them on the show. How
Yeah.
have they got on the show with that business
Yeah.
plan? It's like,
You do wonder. You really wonder sometimes where it's just. It's like a bit like Britain's Got Talent, where I think they hatchet job them sometimes. They generally do.
Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
why I've got to say, Beth, as well. It was the person I thought was going to win it, and I've told Grant this. Got eliminated the week before the actual interview stage, and I was really surprised at that as well. So I'll let you tell me who that was. Now I've told Beth and Grant this already, and it shows what people are like. I know somebody, and I can't name them for legal reasons, so I don't want to get sued. But one of the people that got eliminated basically did a TED talk in Birmingham and saw a
Yeah.
poet friend of mine was doing a one to about disabilities and poetry, and she
Oh, yeah.
told me what an absolute cow this person was in real life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, it's like it shows you what she described was, and I could tell the person privately, but they said they arrived 10 minutes to the due on. Everybody else is there, hours before and hours after us. They
Yeah.
did half an hour chat and they booked us straight off back to London.
Oh, good. Yes.
So, well, this shows you what some people are like, as I would say, definitely. So,
Yeah.
right. Anyway, on a different note, Beth, I know you've got a book you want to talk about briefly, haven't you?
I do, yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, but it's been big news in the last sort of month or so, the new Hunger Games book by Suzanne Collins has recently come out, Sunrise on the Reaping. And it's another prequel, a bit like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It's another prequel, and it's been long awaited because it's telling Haymitch's story of his time in the games. And as we know, he won the 50th Hunger Games, which was a quarter quell where there was twice as many tributes. And it's a really interesting book. I've kind of been savoring it. I've been listening to the audiobook, doing it like a chapter at a time, and it is such a good book. But the thing that struck me about it was just the fact that with everything sort of going on in the world at the moment, and particularly in America, for the first time since, because I've been into the Hunger Games for years. I mean, I was only like 12 when it first came out, and I remember reading it as a kind of, as a teenager, and I've been a fan ever since. And for the first time when I was reading this book, it really made me realize, God, like we are slowly turning into Panem. We are the capital. It's like it doesn't feel that far away from modern day America, and it's kind of a scary read in that sense, because you can really see how what I think Suzanne Collins does brilliantly, and why I think it's sort of set apart from other kind of young adult books, is the way that she sort of shows how propaganda is used to kind of control the masses, and how propaganda is used to sort of tell a particular narrative and get people on side, and the kind of the underhand tactics of politicians, and how people are sort of out for themselves, and the lengths that people will go to maintain power. It's so fascinating. And it really does make you emotional hearing kind of Haymitch's point of view as well, and sort of realizing everything that he's gone through, having to sort of survive his own games. And I don't want to give too much away about the book for those who haven't read it, but he suffers a great amount of loss, shall we say, in the book that you kind of weren't aware of. from the original trilogy, and it's a fascinating read for any Hunger Games fans that haven't got around to it yet.
Amanda, am I right in thinking you've read some of the Hunger Games books?
No, I saw the films that were based on the original books, but that was a
That
long time ago.
Yeah, I can't remember. I've seen the first film. I've definitely not seen any of the others, but yes, I've not read the books, and that's fair enough. Well, obviously, without giving too much away, Beth, do you recommend the book people?
Yeah, highly recommend. It is being turned into a film. We've already had that confirmed that it's going to be coming out next year, the film adaptation. But I highly recommend reading the book because I think there's always something slightly lost, I think, in adaptations. And although I do love the Hunger Games films, and I think they are very faithful adaptations, you do miss a lot. They do miss a lot out, if you haven't read the books as well. There's like certain things they deal with in the books that really kind of drive home the horror, and I think that's what Suzanne Collins does really well as a writer, kind of capturing the sort of child perspective almost, because you sort of have to remember that these people are only meant to be sort of like 15, 16, and she's really good at kind of capturing the kind of mixture of like teenage adolescent brain, and then the kind of horror of this society, this kind of brutal massacring society, and it's a really interesting contrast. So I highly recommend reading it, even if you're not usually into that kind of thing. I think she does it extremely well, and I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's fine. Again, it's probably not for me, but yeah, I appreciate your point of view with that, so I definitely recommend it to people. And Amanda, you have a book you want to talk about as well, don't you?
Yeah, it's my book. The
Yeah.
hardback version of it's out now on Amazon.
Now,
And it's
obviously,
called Death to All Men.
now sell it to Beth then. Almost like if Beth's not heard anything about the book, because Grant and me are both cowering in the corner at the moment, Grant, aren't we?
Yeah.
So
I'll
it's
hide under my
about a
pillow.
woman called Kathy, and she sets up a group for women to vent about men, and things go wrong, and they end up killing bad men.
Sounds good.
Said likey. That's what we do. We mention all kinds of books here and all kinds of topics in this program. Now, I
Yeah.
have to ask you, Amanda, then, obviously, and I might have told you to talk about in the past to you this dream casting in this book. Who would play your lead character?
Oh, I've never thought about it, to be honest. I
I'm
only
on.
have one book I've ever written where I thought about the casting. This isn't it. So.
Fair enough. Well, we'll move
Jensen
on then.
Ackles. Jensen Ackles.
What? As the female lead?
Yeah. Then he won't die. Then he won't die. Yeah.
Oh, don't start me on that one, Grant. That's all I'm going to tell you, right? So, we were mentioning Jensen Ackles later on this podcast. Okay, I can promise you that now, just for Grant, right? Now, obviously, Beth and Grant, you two. Well, you finished Severance off, haven't you, Grant? And
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Beth,
I've finished season 2. Yeah.
you're still moving along slowly, Beth, at season 2 of Severance, aren't you?
Yeah. I've been really enjoying it though. I think it's a really
Mhm.
interesting series. It's not really like anything I've ever watched before. I don't know whether I'm sort of like slightly put off by the kind of slower pace, or
Yeah.
whether it kind of actually really appeals to me. I'm a little bit in two minds about the pacing at the moment, because I've only watched sort of a few episodes. I think I've watched about 4 or 5 episodes. I do think it's really good.
Mhm.
It is sort of, I feel like the pacing does make it feel a little bit odd at times. It's a bit, I don't even know how to describe it. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it really.
Yeah,
But
the
I
first
think
series is quite slow actually. I think they're just setting up for the environment because it's so different. And then
yeah.
in the second series, you kind of know the characters a lot better, so it kind of just moves forward, and they actually do stuff outside the office more. So yeah, you see
Right.
more of their outy life. So which is interesting. So yeah. So
Yeah.
but it's I'd say the pace picks up. I'd say so. Don't worry about that too much.
No,
Yeah.
good. Good. Now, always like we say with any sort of TV programs, and the same with film series, what we're going to talk about next is pacing sometimes. I think, and also looking at
Hmm.
world building as well, aren't you, I suppose?
Yeah.
That's why. So I don't know how many planned seasons they've got planned for Severance, but I get the feeling with it, like you said, it's going to be a slow
Yeah.
burner of a series, probably
Yeah.
more, isn't
I
it?
think
So
so. Yeah.
yeah, no, it
I
makes
think
makes.
I think what I find really fascinating about it is kind of wondering whether like if this was a real thing
Mm.
that was possible, if it was possible to kind of sever your brain so that you've got
Yeah.
like one personality outside of work and then you're a kind of a whole different person inside work and you don't remember your life inside and outside, then I do genuinely wonder like how many people would do that. I genuinely wonder how many people would choose to
Yeah.
have that procedure. I do think it's a really like interesting
Hmm.
concept. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it's because
Yes.
what with like the kind of job market at the moment and I feel like everyone's kind of becoming a little bit disillusioned. From what I can see, I feel like a lot of people are quite disillusioned with their jobs and things.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
do wonder if it was an
Hmm.
option, how many people would take it. So it's a
Hmm.
fascinating concept.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a worrying concept as well, really. But you're right, the job market's
Yeah.
very strange at the moment. Amanda, is there any comments you want to put about that?
No, it's something I'd like to get around to watching eventually. It's just finding time.
Yes, they said both we're both just running on backwards at the moment with stuff. Yeah, so now talk about strange things. Um, obviously, Grant and Beth know people outside now. Me and Amanda were in London fairly recently. We went down to watch the Odeum down to the Odeum in Leicester Square, and
Hmm.
we were hoping to go and watch the Brutalist there, the new
Yeah.
Adrian Brody film.
Hmm.
And we ended up watching Captain America: Brave New World instead, but which we're not going to review because because Amanda liked it. I thought frankly, it was a bag of, something.
Yeah.
But, but, but what ended up watching, when we got back home, we ended up watching The Brutalist instead.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating film because
Mhm.
people don't know it. It's Brady Colbert's new film. And it's a 2024 epic period drama directed and produced by Bertie Colbert, who co-wrote the screenplay with Mona Fastvolt. And it stars Adrian Brody as a Hungarian Jewish Holocaust survivor who immigrates to the United States where he struggles to achieve the American dream until a wealthy client changes his life, played by Guy Pearce, doing a pretty spot-on American accent because he's Australian. But yeah, it was. Amanda, is there much you want to add about this film? Just in passing.
No, it was very dark and grim, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Beth, you like your slow-moving films that take forever to get going. This was like this was like a 3.5 hour film, and we watched it over 3 nights.
Right. I mean, I suppose you can do that with films, like break it up and watch it in installments. I have to say, I do tend to want a little bit more fast pacing when I'm watching a film. I tend to need to be a bit more engaged if I'm gonna sit through a whole film. I don't mind slower pacing when it's a series, but I think with a film I kind of I want to be a bit more gripped. But even now I could give it a go.
It was interesting. It was interesting to honestly as a film. It is, but I said it takes forever. I wanted to watch it really for the soundtrack because the soundtrack was done by some people I was quite interested in, and the soundtrack's really good. The film, well, it was a bit long-winded for me. But Amanda, you like Adrian Brody in these sort of films, don't you normally?
Yeah, he's always really good in these sort of films.
Yeah, and it was. I'll warn you, Beth. There's a pretty upsetting, well, scene in it. I should say that's two-thirds of the way through. And Amanda was asked. You to ask me, Amanda, didn't you? For 5 minutes afterwards, did what happened? Did I think what happened then actually happened?
Yeah, yeah, it was done in a strange way, so you didn't know but until afterwards. I think it got mentioned afterwards, didn't it?
Yeah, I'll tell you off camera what it was, and it was just very, very strange. I don't see. I'm not going to mark it. If what a film was going to take forever to get going with an excellent soundtrack and it's moody, you enjoy it. I think. Right.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
right. On a different topic now, we're going to now move on to our proper reviews of the episode. Reacher, season
Yeah.
3. Now, bear in mind that I know it's time we start recording it today as well. I have questions for everybody. Right.
Oh, good.
Now we'll go for all the questions first, and we may have to take a break then and come back to part two of this, okay? Because it's getting a bit dark in here. I can't see what I'm doing. Now, Grant, I'll start with you then, okay?
Okay.
How did you like the fight scene in the end of episode 8 when you had these two big meaty men making love to
Yeah.
each other, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, it was absolutely incredible because they've been hyping it up all series, haven't they? The tension
Yeah,
between them. And then when
yeah.
they finally kicked off, it was like, come on, Reacher. But then the whole fight, I was just terrified. I was like, Reacher, you're so small compared to him. I
Yeah.
know, you're tiny, Reacher.
It was
And then he was trying his best, and then yeah, he kept coming back. And every time he thought he died, he'd come back. He was like Michael. He was like a a beefcake version of Michael from Halloween, wasn't he? Michael Myers from Halloween. He kept coming back.
but yeah, sorry, we need to state obviously you're talking about Paulie here now. I should have said
Yeah.
then basically this Reach season 3 is. Obviously it follows Jack Reacher, a former major in the United States Army, who's been
Mhm.
assigned to work with the DEA to bring down a suspected drug smuggler, Zachary Beck, by going undercover as the
Mhm.
bodyguard of Beck's son Richard. And during the investigation, Reacher encounters an adversity from his military past and must balance his desire for revenge against his need to finish his mission.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, as Grant said before, the fight scene dominates season 3.
Oh,
Episode 8 is absolutely it was
oh yeah, incredible.
incredible. It was so. And now, obviously, now I have to ask Amanda this. Could you imagine this? What Desiel would have been like from Supernatural should say certain characters have got together?
Not quite.
I know. And I'll say I'm going to tease them out. I've got a proper question for in a moment. But Beth, I need to ask you next. Now, people are wondering when we did Supernatural special, the endless Supernatural special in January. We had it as Amanda, old Supernatural fan, gets his Beth, new Supernatural fans. In this case, it's Grant, Amanda, and Amanda, old Reacher fans versus Beth, the new Reacher fan.
Mhm.
Now, Beth, what was your experience like watching that with your dad, first of all?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it actually.
Yeah.
And it was nice because I feel like me and my dad have quite a different taste in TV normally, and it's not often we find something that we both really enjoy. So it was really nice actually getting to sort of, share that with him, and we both really enjoyed it. But yeah, it's not the kind of thing that I would normally go for, but I was really, really pleasantly surprised. I mean, I do quite like sort of, James Bond kind of, Mission Impossible espionage things, to be fair. So maybe I shouldn't have been quite so surprised that I enjoyed it. But yeah, I thought Alan Richardson was really good in the role, and I'm really excited to go back and watch the first couple of series. I thought
Oh
um
yeah.
I thought he was a really interesting character, and I loved some of the one-liners that he came out with.
Mm.
It was just brilliant when he's like, kind of, so you're stupid and ugly, and then it's like all hell
Yeah.
breaks loose when he's like, when he like beats them to a pulp.
Yeah.
It's really good, really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. I remember it well.
Brilliant,
That.
isn't it?
Now, wasn't there a scene, Amanda? Am I right with this? In the first season, you really like on not Supernatural. I've got it in the bloody brain now. Reacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, you quoted to me several times now, haven't you?
I can't remember it word for word, but it was something on the lines of say there were six of them, and he says he was going to break five of their hands, and it's like, oh, there's six of us. It's like, yeah, but what if he's got to drive the others to the hospital?
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
and that's what you get, Beth, for all 3 seasons of it, and it's
Yeah.
it's very wily. But I
Mm.
wouldn't say it's excessively violent. Would you, Grant? Really, it's action rather than just needless violence, I suppose, isn't it?
He likes he likes kicking the shit out of people, doesn't he? Yeah, he does, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, completely with that one.
I
So
quite like it though, because he kind of like, he only really dishes it out to people that have it coming for them. So
Yeah, he
it's
does.
like
Yeah.
it's quite nice. Like I think my favourite line in the whole thing was when there's a scene where they're like talking about like the coffee beans have been like
Mhm.
regurgitated by a cat or something.
Oh
So
yeah.
he's like drinking like cat's dung in coffee or something, like some kind of really fancy, bizarre coffee brand. And then like this horrible like thug guy makes like a really sexist comment, and then he just kind of like flattens him, and then he's just like, does anyone else have any comments about dessert? And the other guy's just like, nah, man, I've got diabetes. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
Brilliant.
that's
my
great.
favourite line in the whole thing.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Amanda, what was it? Was there any real scenes in season 3 that stood out to you on this one?
There was one where he was with that Chinese couple, and he wasn't very much.
Very much.
And,
Yeah.
As you might notice, Beth,
and
this is the bit
at
she
one
likes
point,
this.
you can see the Chinese woman eyeing him up as well, and she looked
Yeah.
No, obviously, I can't ask Grant if that was your favourite scene as well, can I, Grant?
I tell you what scene I really loved, because every season in it, he gets with like kind of like there's always like a female detective or female character like who kind of like hates his methods, but then comes round so he's charmed by him in the end. And that one was it, Detective Duffy. Like they were like someone was saying, oh, the chemistry between them. And he was only like, oh, she only likes me for my body, and then she was like, and then she went like that. They kind of looked at each
Kind
other.
of spits out. She's like taking a mouthful of coffee or something, and then
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, she only wants me for my body." And she kind of
Yeah,
spits out her coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like there's been
Really
a few. There was a few gags about that every single season. There is, like it said, we were talking before, obviously in camera, everybody. And Beth's going to watch this about the Guy Ritchie film that came out last year. Was it the Ministry of Unjustly Warfare or something? Amanda, was it? I can't remember now. Or
Something like that.
Gentle Warfare,
Yeah.
when obviously Alan Rickman was playing a character that was completely realistic to what the main character was in real life. He's put a little moustache on him just to separate him from Reacher, and I thought to myself, I thought that's a sheer method acting that is. That's why. Now, Grant, how did you feel about Neely coming back into this series?
Oh yeah, I love her. She's amazing. They're going to do a spin-off series, aren't they?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How do you feel about the
Yeah.
spin-off series, which is shooting at the moment?
Oh, is it? Oh, cool. Yeah. No, I think it'd be good. I think she's a really cool character, and yeah, she's a real badass. I mean, you always need her, and she always comes out to Reacher's aid, doesn't she? So I'm hoping Reach will make a cameo in the series. They've got to, really, haven't they?
I think they probably will. Probably will.
But I'd like to know more about her life and stuff. I think she's a really interesting, cool character.
It's interesting of this book. She wasn't actually in the book. They actually wrote her into the series. No.
Oh, did they? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Beth this. Does Beth know about, because you're a journalist among us, did you know they made some quite big changes to the script in this book? It's programmed from the book, I mean. I've got words back to bloody front tonight.
Yeah, no, I knew it was based on one of the Reacher books, but I haven't actually read the series, so I'm not sure what changes they've made. But I did get the sense that my dad said he really enjoyed the series, but he didn't like it quite as much because he said he's not really used to Reacher being in one place quite as much. He's not really used to him kind of not being on the road quite as much. And he wasn't sure how he felt about that. So I thought maybe they made like a few changes from the source material, but I don't know.
They did make a couple on it. Nearly wasn't in the book, and I've got the character's name down now. The drug lord in question. Oh, I forgot his bloody name now. Beck. Quinn was made Beck. His actual wife was actually in the book, and of what I understand, she was another notch on Reacher's bedpost.
Oh, amazing!
So that's the rumor going
on. I did quite like the father and son relationship in the show. It was quite a.
Yeah. They amplified it a lot from the book because the son's not in the book as much. So removing the mother character, there's some scenes in the book when apparently he was driving the mother to town. So yeah, I mean they swapped it. I think they swapped it around a bit. So, but it worked anyway. So now,
I thought it did.
Yeah, Amanda's read 2 of the books to date, and as I know you have, Amanda, haven't you?
Yeah, I've read the much earlier one. I've forgotten which one it was now, and then I've read the most recent one that's called In Too Deep.
Pardon?
That's the title of it. Stop being rude. Get your mind out of the door.
Right. Now, you told me before, Amanda, didn't you, off mic? You found the books a bit different, didn't you, in tone?
Well, yeah, because the recent one now, that's one of the ones that's been well, co-written, but I think it's mainly his brother with the guidance of him writing the book.
Yeah, and you said, didn't you say that it felt like with the most recent book you've read, it felt more like the TV series, but the initial one
Yeah.
was the early one,
And it
did
feels
it?
like they're always like adding threats as well. Like in the series, obviously they had Paulie, and in this one they start off and he's been in a car crash, and his memory is a bit fuzzy, and he's hurt his wrist, so he can't move his
Pardon?
wrist, so he's only
Pardon?
got one hand to punch. So he's hurt his
Oh my
wrist in
God, one
the car
hand.
crash, so he's only got one hand to punch people with, and he's had a head injury, so he can't headbutt anybody.
Oh,
So it's
it's
just
not the
like
same reach.
tickling, and he still beats everybody up.
Yeah.
Head,
Yeah.
headless and armless. Oh, blimey. Now,
Yeah.
I've got, I'm going to ask Beth this because Beth's a journalist among us. Another major change they made from the actual book into the TV series was the actual, and I've not got the character's name now, the reason why Reacher was going after Quinn for revenge.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, the soldier's name was actually in the book a fair bit more in the past, and the torture scene apparently was quite graphic. So,
Oh,
yeah, how do you all? I'll ask Beth first, but I'll ask all of us. Do you think doing what they did, they cut it down, didn't they, and give it much more effect? I think that way.
Yeah, well, because I think I heard. I think if you're talking about, are you talking about? Is it Cole? Her name?
Cole, that was it. I couldn't think of her
yeah,
name.
that's
I've not
it.
written it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I got because I think I read. I think I heard somewhere that in the books, they actually have a bit of a relationship. So,
yeah.
like, she and Reacher actually go out in the book. I heard somewhere, but obviously in this series, they kind of presented her as more of a kind of young prodigy
Mhm.
that he kind of almost viewed more as like a daughter figure for want of a better word, and that he was kind of like mentoring her, and he was kind of like fond of her in more of a platonic way. Um, and yeah, I do. I'm not surprised to hear that the kind of like her being tortured was kind of described a lot more graphically in the books. But I think personally, I'm quite glad that they didn't sort of show that in too much detail in the series, because I think just whatever way you look at it, I don't think it's really going to be great to kind of have graphic depictions of a
Mhm.
woman being tortured in a TV series.
No.
You know, in today's kind of day and age, and sort of like the kind of special effects that you can do to make it look really real, and everything that's kind of going on in, popular culture with
Mhm.
kind of, we were mentioning earlier, kind of, the incel movement and everything. I think sort of graphically depicting a woman being tortured, don't know whether that footage is going to end up in the wrong hands. I know that's quite a dark way
Yeah.
of looking at it, but I think you have to be very careful, even if it's for entertainment purposes as part of a narrative. You don't know where that footage is going to end up, or whether it's going to be taken out of context.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's particularly tasteful viewing, and I think you can have just as much impact, showing her kind of dead hanging from the ceiling but not actually showing what led to that. I think you
Mhm.
can have just as much effect, so I don't think they necessarily have to show the entire scene in graphic detail. I can definitely see why they chose not to depict that.
Amanda, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I'm the same as well. And like when I read books, it's like some of them just like go into a lot of detail about stuff. And sometimes it's just more effective if you just sort of hint at something and then sort of cut to it afterwards,
Yeah,
and we'll
no,
still know what's happened.
yeah, I agree with you. Agree with you all completely on that one straight away. And I presume, Grant, you feel the same on that as well, do you? Less is more, definitely sometimes.
Yeah, I think it was really effective. Yeah,
Yeah,
otherwise,
me
yeah.
do as well. Amanda, now, I know you've got some other notes on something you want to talk about with this series today, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, there were a couple of things that I was cheering at the screen. The first one was when Duffy shot somebody in a certain part of the anatomy,
Oh yeah, that
and
was
I was like,
amazing.
"Yeah, go on."
Yeah.
I get what you're trying to. I know you were. You was jumping on the stage again, again, again. She was.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's just say women's misbehaving in that way anymore.
You lie, can't you? That's all I'm going to say there. So no comment, right?
And,
But
and the
yeah,
other was the fight scene with Paulie and Reacher, and like we thought he'd died, and
Mm.
then it just him in the background just staggering up the
Yeah, it
road
was brilliant.
coming out of The
Yeah.
Walking Dead. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh no, what's gonna
yeah.
happen?
Yeah. I remember you saying that to him, Mandy. You kept times comparing like something like The Walking Dead. It was like
Mm.
fascinating. It was, yeah, just like it just wouldn't go. I kept thinking, oh, what a great way for this one, drowning him. But 2 minutes later, you see him staggering on the road and you see him reaching.
Yeah.
God, I was thinking,
I loved how that fight ended though.
yeah,
I loved
Oh
the kind
yeah.
of like you may be bigger, but I'm smarter
yeah,
kind of thing, you know. So I
Yeah, it
love
was
that.
great. Yeah.
very, very clever that was. Oh dear, dear, dear,
Yeah.
brilliantly done. Grant, is there anything else you wish to add tonight? Then,
No, I thought it was the best series of the three, I think, so
yeah,
far.
my favourite as well, to be honest, by some
And
distance.
also, I love the DA, the one that was close to retirement, the chunky one. He was great, yeah. Because I liked at the end when he was fighting because he had his vest on and blood down. It was kind of like Bruce Willis in Die Hard a bit. He was kind of saving
Oh,
everyone a little bit.
Well,
I think it was a
Bruce
bit of a
Willis ate too
homage to
many
it.
donuts.
Yeah,
God,
yeah. And he was just always eating donuts when he. Yeah,
that's a very good point actually about Bruce Willis. I was wondering about that. Yeah, just makes
yeah,
sense completely instead of that. Yeah, God, yeah.
yeah,
You think
yeah.
about it, yeah, it does. It does it. There's a lot of very subtle stuff in this series. And Beth, I'll ask you now. Is there anything else you would wish to mention? Because I've got a comment to do. I want to say before we wrap up.
Mm, I mean, the only thing that I also kind of picked up on that I quite liked, which I'd have to watch the other two series to kind of say for certain, but I got the sense that they it's quite I quite enjoy the way that they actually like depict his relationship with women, because I'm sure
Mm,
there's like some people that will probably argue that like, oh, he's got a different love interest every
mm,
series and it's a bit of a kind of, he's a bit of a womanizer and he just kind of sleeps around or whatever. But I get the sense that it isn't really sort of intended in that way. And I actually think it's quite refreshing that there's not, kind of the one woman that he was always destined to love and all of this. And it's
mm.
quite sort of like he's not actually kind of fixated on one particular person, and there's not kind of a damsel in distress that keeps coming back, that that he has to save every series, that you want them to end up together. It's a bit more realistic of kind of like modern relationships, and especially like people kind of in the army, and what I'm sure kind of the fact that kind of lifestyle doesn't really lend itself to long-term relationships. I think I quite enjoyed the fact that he does have some kind of quite intense, loving relationships with women, but he's not necessarily wanting to settle down. But the key point is neither are they. So I
Yeah,
quite I
Yeah.
quite enjoy that.
that was the crunch point in this series, really, because the officer detective he got together with, she was
Mm,
Mm,
she was obviously like was saying all along, she just doesn't want it, and that's
mm,
stated quite clearly. I thought, yeah, very, very well
mhm.
done that. You
Yeah.
wouldn't have seen it yet, Beth, obviously, from the first two seasons. This was the one, obviously, with the Paulie coming into it. Fans were getting really excited about this because there's a real, real threat for Reacher it was.
Yeah.
The second season is based about him and the team, the people. You see the team aspect of it, and the first one set the series up. This was I know Grant told me we didn't know how he was going to beat Paulie because that is
No.
such the bloke is absolute monster in real life. He's like what's that about 7'3"?
Yeah, it's
Say about
crazy.
this massive bloke. He could act as well. He could. It was like
Mhm.
I was until they brought him in. I thought, oh my fucking god! It was like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking astonishing it was, yeah. But it's my favourite season of the three, without doubt.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, brilliant.
best one, and I can't wait for season four now, to be honest with you. Even
Mm.
though he's got a couple of films lined up at the moment. But they did commission this in October last year, so you would hope
Oh, great.
they're writing the script at the moment, so
Yeah,
wait and see.
brilliant.
Now, obviously, this is our first major review of the episodes. We better mark this one. Amanda, what are you giving this out of 10?
9.
Boo!
Uh,
Boo! Beth.
I'm actually gonna give it a 10 out of 10 because
Yeah.
Ooh, hang on, mate. Beth's giving something 10 out of 10.
yeah, because I think just because I was like really, really pleasantly surprised because I
Oh
kind of
yeah, it's fantastic.
I didn't think I was going to enjoy it as much as I did. And although it wouldn't be the kind of thing that I would normally watch, I think that kind of added to my enjoyment of it in a way because it was like just quite, I thought it was just quite interesting watching. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's really surprised me at the time when we first watched it. And Amanda, you were the same, weren't you, really, with that? I can't. Amanda, why did we decide to watch this? Can you remember?
I don't know whose idea it was.
Did Amanda see his shower scene or something?
Oh, I know what it was. It was no, it wasn't. It wasn't a shower scene. It was that other TV show with the superheroes I used to watch.
Yes. You better tell our friends here what the show was, Amanda, and why.
I
And
can't remember what it was
a
now.
mutual friend of ours found it. Yeah. Oh, good grief. Yeah, it
Someone
was.
showed me a picture and I was like, oh yeah, I know him. Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, and a mutual friend of ours who I won't name went and found a picture of him, basically kind of modestly protecting his anatomy, but he's not protecting
Oh,
anything else. And that then got Amanda, that did. So yeah, oh, good grief. Yeah,
oh,
anyway.
fair enough.
All right, sorry, Grant, what are you giving us out of 10, mate?
Oh yeah, I'll give it like 9.5. I'd say. Amazing.
I'm with Beth. It's 10. Best of this,
Yes.
best of this three for me. For some
Yeah,
because the
brilliant.
tension really got built up. The only
Mhm.
concern I've got is how the hell they're going to top it in the next season.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. But then again, they've all been very, very good, haven't they? All three
Yeah,
series. So
yeah.
they're
So you
very,
want,
just very entertaining, isn't it? Very watchable.
yeah,
Uh, and
definitely.
I just love him. I could just see him beat the shit out of anyone all day. I love it.
Okay, people, yeah, we've got to pushing on 50 minutes, I reckon, today. So we're going to take a quick break here. And I can't actually see what other programs on the list we've got because I've not turned the light on. But I know we've got Amanda's How to Get Away with Murder in part 2. Beth has been watching Superman and Lois, the final season. Season 4, was it?
mhm.
And I think we've got, well, there's a story here, Grant, isn't there? Last one laughing, isn't there?
Two of us have got last
Oh
one
yes, I
laughing.
have to talk about that.
Yeah. I know. We will back in two shakes of dice, people, okay? See you all soon.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.
Not the TV guide.